You're listening to CFRN, the Christian Financial Radio Network.
Good afternoon, traders, and welcome back to the CFRN Emini Futures Cast. This is the daily broadcast of Indeterminate Length, where we discuss all things Emini, along with some really big ideas on the finer points of trading gold, bonds, crude, sugar, the euro. Joining us today, Mr. Michael Borth. From our trading desk in Chicago, Mr. Burton Schlichter. Now, to get things started, let's go to our host and founder in Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Here's Dwayne.
Good afternoon. Welcome back. Today's Monday, 4th day of May, 2026. Thanks so much for joining us. Whoever you are, wherever you are, we're just glad to have you right here, right now. The market's giving us a useful little sermon today. When traders get comfortable, reality has a way of walking back into the room. After a very strong run, stocks have cooled off into the late morning. The Dow's off by roughly 400 points. S&P 500 and NASDAQ have slipped into the red. This is not a mystery. Oil is higher, the Middle East is back in focus, and Wall Street is once again being reminded that geopolitics still matter, supply still matters, and energy still matters. So the leadership today is exactly what you would expect. Energy is firmer, defensive areas are acting better, and the more speculative growth trade is losing a little altitude. This is not panic. This is simply repricing. It's the market saying maybe we got a little too cute, a little too fast. You also have a few stock stories worth watching. Berkshire is back in focus after Greg Abel's first big shareholder weekend as CEO, and the market seems reasonably comfortable with that transition. Meanwhile, the eBay GameStop drama is still giving traders something to gamble on, because apparently we can never just have a normal Monday. On the news side, conservatives are watching three big fronts today: border leverage in the DHS funding fight, the May primaries that will test Republican strength going into the midterms, and the bigger America First question overseas as Europe reacts to Trump's troop drawdown from Germany. So that's the setup as we head into the afternoon. Softer stocks, firmer oil, real political stakes, and a reminder that discipline beats hype. So let's get into it. As you know, we do 2 live broadcasts every trading day. The first live broadcast, or the first broadcast, I should say, is our live training room. Now, to get in there, you got to be a member or taking the 1-week free trial. When Michael comes on, he'll show you how to take the 1-week free trial. This afternoon broadcast, on the other hand, is open to the public. Everybody, everywhere on planet Earth with an internet-connected device. There's 2 different ways you can join this afternoon broadcast live. The best way, you only got to do it once. Go to mytradingiq.com. Scroll down the page to where it says Noon Broadcast. Click the link, fill out the 30-second registration form, and you're done. What will happen going forward is every trading day, you'll get an email about an hour before the broadcast starts. In the email, there's a link, so at 12 noon Eastern, all you have to do is click the link in the email, and it automatically logs you into our platform. The benefit there is you immediately have access to the question box, so you can ask questions and participate in the discussion. Of course, there will be days you're out of the office, away from your desktop, but you still want to join live. And some days you'll be busy, so you can't join live, but you want to get caught up later. You can do both of those via our YouTube channel, which is easy to remember. youtube.com/CFRN. That's the Christian Financial Radio Network since 2005. And not only do we broadcast live every trading day on our YouTube channel, as we're doing right now, but we also archive each and every daily broadcast. Currently, there's over 3,000 daily episodes archived for your educational and viewing pleasure. And if you're new to our neck of the woods, it's a great way to get to know who we really are. Thanks to the power of YouTube, you can scroll back 6 days, 6 weeks, 6 months, 6 years, even more, a lot more. Obviously, you're not going to watch them all, but it's a great resource to have at your fingertips because it does allow you to see how we've evolved over all these years, day by day by day. youtube.com/CFRN. On the left side of the screen is our schedule for each afternoon broadcast. Michael will join us at the top of the hour, 1 p.m. Eastern, for a recap of what happened this morning in the live training room, and also do a little live trading as time and the markets permit. But right now, we're going to dive into our daily devotional. That's where we start each and every afternoon broadcast. The topic that we're on right now, this is a long one. We've been in it a couple weeks. I think we got a couple weeks left. Everyday faith. Our scripture today is Genesis 50:20 from the NIV translation. You intended to harm me, but God intended it for good, to accomplish what is now being done, the saving of many lives. Again, Genesis 50, verse 20. Joseph did not say those words quickly. You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good. He said them after years of betrayal, injustice, delay, and silence. He had been sold by his brothers, lied about, forgotten in prison, promises postponed, dreams stalled. If anyone had grounds to conclude that his life had been derailed, it would be Joseph. The pit did not look like destiny. The prison did not look like promise. Delay did not look like God's favor. Everything appeared like a loss. And loss has a way of rewriting our interpretation of God. When events collapse around us, we draw conclusions. And then we make statements like, this ruined me. This set me back. This disqualified me. We rehearse those statements in our mind, and sometimes out loud, until they start to actually feel like the truth. The story has been recast. Sometimes others will even confirm it. Their words settle into our narrative. That's just how life goes. You missed your moment. You should have known better. Another missed opportunity. But years later, Joseph saw what he could not see in the moment. You meant evil against me, but God meant it for good. Notice what he does not say. He does not deny the harm. He does not rename betrayal as kindness. He acknowledges evil, but he refuses to grant it final authority. God meant it for good. That is not naive optimism. That's sovereignty. The same events that look like detours became Joseph's very road to destiny. The suffering that felt like setback was necessary for formation. All of it prepared the way for fulfillment. But it was difficult, if not impossible, to see it at the time when it was actually happening. When you isolate a painful chapter, it can feel definitive. But Scripture insists that no chapter stands alone. No prison is final, no delay is wasted, not when God is in control. You may not yet see what Joseph eventually saw, but that doesn't mean God is absent from the process. The cross itself looked like it was a total loss in the moment, yet it was all part of the Master's plan. In the end, victory even over death. So, look in the mirror and say this: your story is not finished. Don't judge the ending from the middle. Question: is there a moment in your past that needs to be reinterpreted inside God's larger story? Meditate on that. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, forgive us for predicting the outcome. Our story is held inside of your story, and you always accomplish your purposes. We trust you that you are working all things together for our good. It's in Jesus' name we believe and pray. And everybody said, amen. Amen and happy Monday. That's a real oxymoron, huh? Come on. Mondays can be happy. Sometimes. It'll take you by surprise, but... all right, I'm going to give you the numbers from around the world. It's not pretty, so sit down. Or stand up. Dow is down. Now, these are the cash markets, the indices, not the futures. Dow's down 528 points, over 1%. NASDAQ is down 151. S&P 500 is down 43. And the Russell 2000, our man in the street, is down 14. In the commodity basket, crude oil is up at $3.47, trading 105.36 last. That's a gain of over, well, it's almost 3.5%. Gold is down $115.90, trading 45.28 last. That's a drop of over, that's actually 2.5%. Yeah. Silver's down $3.05, trading 73.38 last. That's a drop of 4% and dropping. In the Asian markets at the close, the Nikkei posted a gain of 228 points. Shanghai rose 4.5. The Hang Seng gained 319. It's 1.25%. And in the European markets at the close, FTSE down 14. The DAX down 256. That's a little over 1%. And the CAC down 138. It's 1.75%. So we had a green day in Asia. It was a red day for the UK. And at the moment, it is a big red radio Monday here in the US of A. How about that Kentucky Derby? Incredible. Cherie Duvall became the first female trainer to win the Kentucky Derby as Golden Tempo surged from last place to triumph by a neck at Churchill Downs. Golden Tempo was at the back of the 18-strong field with half a mile of the 1.25-mile race to go. Renegade was also off the pace, about 15 lengths back midway through the race as he tried to become the first horse to win from the inside gate in 40 years. But after storming down the final stretch, it looked like the favorite had secured victory, only for Golden Tempo to edge past him on the line, winning in a time of 2 minutes and 27 seconds. Pretty incredible. If you haven't seen, go on YouTube if you missed it, if you haven't seen it on the news, just type in Kentucky Derby 2026. The way this horse came from behind on the outside, it's phenomenal. It's worth watching. Okay, on to the news. The other news. Spirit Airlines shut down over the weekend after failing to secure a $500 million rescue package, officially ceasing operations around 3 a.m. Eastern Saturday morning. Weekend travelers were told not to go to the airport, and the decision leaves around 17,000 employees out of work. Now, Spirit tried to merge with JetBlue under the Biden administration. But the man who had no business being Secretary of Transportation, Pete Buttigieg, he said no, that would create a monopoly. People need more choices. And Biden backed him. So they go bankrupt twice. Biden and Buttigieg won't let them merge with JetBlue, which was obviously the smart thing to do, not just in hindsight, but common sense. Anyway, now there's no Spirit Airlines. I'm just curious who's going to come in and pick up the pieces. I mean, they only represented about, when they went under, or officially closed Saturday morning, they represented about 1.5% of all U.S. air travel. So, yeah, I know 17,000 people lost their job. That's a horrible thing. But somebody will show up at the auction and get a deal. Probably, what's his name? Virgin Airlines. The F1 Miami Grand Prix yesterday was won by Italian driver Kimi Antonelli, edging out reigning world champion Lando Norris by just over 3 seconds. It was the third straight win for the 19-year-old Antonelli, son of former driver Marco Antonelli, and the fourth straight win for Mercedes. Part 2 of a landmark lawsuit over Meta's failure to shield children from online dangers begins today in New Mexico, in a case that may potentially force the company to institute reforms for minors on its platforms. Originally filed in December of 23, a jury levied a $375 million penalty against Meta last month, finding that the company knowingly violated the state's consumer protection laws and exposed children to sexual exploitation and other harms. In the second remedies phase, a judge will decide to what extent Meta must comply with reforms sought by New Mexico officials. These include instituting strict age verification, banning infinite scroll, and limiting minors to no more than 90 hours per month. Wow. All right, there's 4 weeks in a month. So that's just over 20 hours a week. Whatever. Company has suggested it could shut down access to Facebook, Instagram, and WhatsApp in New Mexico pending the outcome. Turning to Wall Street and the geopolitical quagmire we're in. Tensions around the Strait of Hormuz quickly escalated today in the hours after President Trump announced a new plan to try to break the deadlock. Responding to a new U.S. effort to guide ships through the shipping channel, Iran said it fired a warning shot at a U.S. Navy ship. The nation's semi-official news agency even suggested that Iranian missiles had struck a U.S. frigate. That's what I was on, a frigate. We escort the aircraft carriers. I was on the USS Lockwood and the USS O'Callaghan. Now, those remarks coming out of Iran drew a quick rebuke from U.S. Central Command, which responded, no U.S. Navy ships have been struck, and then later said that 2 U.S. flagged vessels had successfully made the transit. Meanwhile, the United Arab Emirates reportedly issued an alert to its citizens about a potential missile attack, asking residents to immediately seek a safe place in the closest secure building. The rapid-fire developments were a notable escalation in tensions in the region after weeks of a tenuous ceasefire. Crude oil prices are volatile today amid a new sense that increased fighting could be coming. Of course it is. I don't know why we keep putting it off. We need to just get in there and get it done. Get her done. Treasury Secretary Scott Bessent said today on Fox News, we are not the provocateurs here, but if the Iranians want to escalate, we are willing to escalate. We got the bigger gun. Stocks jittery today as concerns about the escalation eclipsed optimism stoked by strong quarterly earnings growth last week. Markets slid into the red in pre-market trading following reports that 2 Iranian strikes hit a U.S. patrol boat and that a U.S. warship was turned back in the Strait of Hormuz. The U.S. has denied the reports from Iranian media outlets. You know what? You can't believe a word these people say. Oh, and I posted today in the Breeze channel, This American Life. I know it's a liberal NPR thing, but I've been listening to it for... It's on the radio every Saturday at 2 o'clock here in Phoenix. And then Sunday, it's turned into a podcast and put in your Apple Podcast feed, or you can go to the site, thisamericanlife.com. I posted this weekend's show in the Breeze channel. It's voice memos from the Iranian people. And all I can say is pray for these people, okay? They didn't do anything wrong. They don't like the government they're under. Now, I don't want to say too much because I want you to really enjoy this podcast. It's worth 45 minutes of your time. Listen to the whole thing, okay? And think about these people. How do we get the job done without hurting the people who support us? They want Trump and Bibi to get it done. Although there are some hardline Iranians, citizens, who support this evil regime. After all it's done, they killed 30,000 people in the streets, their own people. This is before Trump ever did anything. It's part of the reason why Trump did what he did. Somebody's got to put a stop to this nonsense. GameStop, you know, the meme stock everybody was trading last year, the year before. fell roughly 4% in early trading today. Why? GameStop proposed to buy online marketplace eBay for about $56 billion in cash and stock. The video game retailer, which is roughly 4 times smaller than eBay, offered $125 per share in cash and stock for the iconic marketplace site, or about a 20% premium over Friday's closing price. Shares of eBay jumped 8% this morning. GameStop has a market cap of more than $11 billion versus eBay's valuation of $46 billion. This is kind of unusual, the little guy buying the big guy. GameStop has already built about a 5% stake in eBay. The company has made a series of moves to reinvent itself over the years since activist investor Ryan Cohen took the helm of the struggling video game retail business. Cohen was appointed CEO in September of 23 after serving as executive chair since 2021. So gold fell, I already mentioned that, following its second weekly decline as traders monitored progress towards a U.S.-Iran deal and implications of heightened Middle East tensions on inflation and the Federal Reserve's interest rate path. I mean, even if we get wash in, we may still see a rate hike. This is insanity. Gold bullion fell as much as 2% in early trading, while oil climbed on concerns that regional tensions could threaten a fragile ceasefire. A fresh plan announced by President Trump to help vessels through the Strait of Hormuz has left shipping executives perplexed as attacks continued and traffic remains at a near standstill. We're going to see something here. I feel it. Don't you feel it? Of course you do. All right, what else we got? Let's talk about Barack Obama. Why not? What a piece of work. I mean, seriously, the guy has no shame. 1 week after the former president successfully gaslit a small majority of Virginians into voting for a redistricting initiative that got rid of the state's 2 majority-minority congressional districts, he has the gall to condemn the Supreme Court's ruling against the practice of redistricting along racial lines. He doesn't really care about giving black voters better representation. He cares about the Democrats' grasp for raw, naked political power by any means necessary. So what is racial redistricting, you ask? While the Constitution generally prohibits sorting citizens based on race, lower courts have long interpreted the Voting Rights Act of 1965 as effectively mandating redistricting along racial lines. This process has ensured the Democrats have more congressional districts in the South, maintained by the legal fiction that drawing maps based on race will give black voters an equal playing field. When is the last time the Democrats did anything for the black man or woman? Yet the Supreme Court this past Wednesday put an end to all the nonsense. Louisiana versus Calais. Louisiana's legislature had drawn a redistricting map that preserved 1 majority black district. But a court mandated that the state redraw the map to create a 2nd majority black district. Louisiana did so and faced a court challenge. The Supreme Court's majority opinion found that the Voting Rights Act only forbids redistricting explicitly aimed at racial discrimination, not political advantage. This effectively means that southern states can redraw their congressional maps and eliminate majority-minority districts so long as they do so for political, not racial reasons. Democrats hate this because it destroyed their legal backstop to maintain Democratic congressional districts inside of red states. Obama condemned the Supreme Court, suggesting he was doing so on principle. He's doing so because he's Barack Hussein Obama. And Democratic, this is it for news. I've had enough. Democrat Illinois governor and billionaire J.B. Pritzker has been quietly throwing his political weight and checkbook around, bankrolling major campaign committees, senior leaders, and 2026 congressional election challengers viewed as critical to the Democratic Party. Publicly available Federal Election Commission data reviewed by the Daily Caller reveal that Pritzker has been contributing both personally and through the use of long-standing campaign accounts to a number of Democrat candidates. Pritzker has donated upwards of 6- and 7-figure sums to major Democrat campaign committees like the Democratic Congressional Campaign Committee, the Democratic Senatorial Campaign Committee, and the Democratic National Committee, the DNC. The moves, according to some seasoned political consultants, suggest that Pritzker believes he can go pound for pound in a presidential run against the likes of fellow Democrat governors Gavin Newsom of California and Josh Shapiro of Pennsylvania, and of course Gretchen Whitmer of Michigan, as well as former Vice President Kamala Harris. Oh my. Could you imagine having her back in office again? Oh, it's a thought I don't want to imagine. Okay. Moving on. Logic 247. It's our 24/7 around-the-clock Emini alert service. Now, if you missed Friday's broadcast, I went through every logic alert that we put out last week, and we discussed the results. So if you missed Friday's broadcast, and you want to know more about the logic alerts and how they work and what the symbols and all that mean, watch Friday's broadcast, youtube.com/CFRN. You'll see the one that was broadcast Friday. Okay, I went through every single one, and we had a lot. We're in week 405, but last week, week 404, we issued a total of 71 Logic 247 alerts. 10 never triggered, so we had 61 actionable alerts, of which 5 or 8% would have been stopped out based simply on market structure and a very simple process that we teach all of our passport holders. We're now in week 405. Over the last 405 weeks, we have issued over 22,000 individual handcrafted alerts. And what we've averaged on a weekly basis is 20% or less of the alerts being stopped out, again based on simple market structure and the simple process we teach all of our passport holders. Now, Valerie did the recap this morning at 6:30 a.m. Eastern. Since the markets opened last night at 6 p.m. Eastern, I've issued a total of 14 alerts. At the time she did the recap, we were still waiting on the outcome of 7. With this sell-off, I'm going to guess some of those have triggered. She will, of course, update the recap and post it in the various places as she does each and every day. So 14 alerts issued last night. At the time of the recap, still waiting on the outcome of 7. 7 actionable alerts. Nothing stopped out so far. But the week is young. But it's nice to get off to a good start. Now, Logic 247. 7.5 years, 22,000 alerts. Now, every Logic alert has an entry price, long or short. then an initial target, and in most cases additional targets, and then always a final trade to target. The purpose of the logic alerts really is to just teach you how to read a chart. If you never actually trade a logic alert, you can still use them to learn how to read the chart. And if you want to trade for a living, I'm telling you, you got to learn how to read the chart. It's not really an option. I mean, now the logic alerts can come out anytime around the clock, 2 a.m. or 2 p.m. Futures trade around the clock. We have traders around the globe. Our day session is their night session, and vice versa. So we've done the logic alerts. We rolled that out like 7.5 years ago. But many years before that, we had our original alert service, the concierge trade alerts. Okay, now they're different in a lot of different ways. But for the purpose of this discussion, I'll just say they don't come out around the clock. They're published as a static report, typically 5 minutes ahead of the Globex Open. The new week starts Sunday night at 6 p.m. Eastern. The Monday session will end today at 5 p.m. Eastern. Markets will go quiet for an hour. They got to sweep the floor, empty the ashtrays. And then tonight at 6 p.m. Eastern, the markets will reopen. And that will be the beginning of the Tuesday session. So I said all that to say this. All of our traders had all of these targets 5 minutes before the market opened last night. And God willing, the same thing will happen tonight. Now, I did put out an explainer in the discussion group in Telegram. I was anticipating a gap lower open. So I issued 2 short targets. And I'll be doggone, we gapped up. But that's changed. So normally there's just one number here, like this. But last night, because now it has come to pass. You're going to see it when we go to the charts. But I was looking for a gap lower open. We got a gap higher open, and there's 2 short targets, 2 short targets. Our traders had this information 5 minutes before the markets open. Okay, S&P 500, the Dow, the Russell, crude oil, the NQ. On the NQ, I think I gave 3 targets, short targets. 1, 2, 3. Yep. And then gold and silver. So let's go look at the charts, and then it'll all make sense. Kind of. We'll start where we always do with the bellwether, the S&P 500 E-mini futures. Now, I wrote last night in the discussion group. If you aren't following in the discussion group, you're missing so much if you're a member. Anyway, I said the market will most likely gap lower on the open, but it didn't. I said, and we should find support at the black step line. And that's exactly what happened. Now, earlier this morning, price ran up almost to the opening price last night, but now it's come back down. So there's your major support right there at 72.05 3/4. Below that would be the low of last Thursday. And that is, come on, cooperate. Where's my pop-up? I guess if I wait long enough. All right, Thursday's low was 71.33 3/4. So you've got a big window of opportunity here. Now, this isn't something you trade on your range chart, okay? I would say getting short at 71.86 should take you down to about 71.52. Let me write this down. We'll use round numbers. We'll make it 71.85. 71.85. We'll call it 71.55. Okay, that's 30 points. So on tomorrow's broadcast, if this window has filled, that's a 30-point trade that was given to you long before it happened. Now, we've come down and tapped the black step line a couple times and caught a bounce. But as long as the market stays heavy, eventually we're going to trade through the black step line. And then your next support's here. And then the 24% Feb retracement and the daily BBC. Price always reverts to the mean. In our case, the mean is green. We call it the BBC. It just stands for bull, bear, cross. When price crosses below the green line, we're bearish and expect lower prices. When price crosses above the green line, we're bullish and expect higher prices. When the black step line crosses blue and climbing, we expect a retracement back to the BBC. But as you can see in this case, that didn't happen. We consolidated all last week. Until Thursday, we had a big up day. We hit red and falling, which turned it into blue and climbing. And then on Friday, we put in a new all-time historic high. On Friday, 7,300.75. That's a new all-time historic high, but we closed this session red. That's why I was calling for a gap lower open last night. But some people got a little too cute, a little too fast, and now they're wishing they hadn't. Look, we're starting to bounce again. All right, let's get to the meat. See how we got two short targets? We had a gap higher open. I was expecting a gap lower open, but that's okay. Let me just walk you through it. The vertical line separates today, Monday. Back over here is Friday. And there's the new all-time historic high right there. Okay? So we gapped from Friday's low last night at the open. We gapped all the way up here. And then we had a little bit of a green candle, and then it faded. Now, the pullback to the BBC holds more often than it doesn't. If you take nothing else away from today's broadcast, remember this: price always reverts to the mean. I don't care what you trade or how you trade it. Price always reverts to the mean. And the pullback holds more often than it doesn't. Pullback held, pullback held, pullback held, until it didn't. Okay? And we gapped up and consolidated most of the night, just kind of sideways. And then this morning, it's at 6:30, 6 o'clock, we ran right down to last week's weekly trading zone. Now, all the alerts I put out on Sunday night are based on the previous week's weekly trading zones, because the new weekly trading zones aren't published until Monday morning, this morning, 6:15 a.m. Eastern. So when I send out alerts Sunday night, I have to base them off the previous week's zones. But now that I've published the new zones this morning, any alerts I put out the remainder of the week will be based on the new weekly trading zones. Once they're published Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, they're carved in stone for the entire week. They don't change in any way whatsoever. Now, when price rallies up to a weekly trading zone, we expect resistance until proven otherwise. When price drops to a weekly trading zone, we expect support until proven otherwise. So these are the zones that were published last Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern. And it held to the tick. The zone was 72.14/15. Now on tomorrow's broadcast, you'll see this week's zones on my chart, because any alerts I put out today will of course be based on the new weekly zones. So we had the gap higher open, we came down, we found support at last week's zone. Support always sends the market looking for resistance. So basically you had a leg and a retracement, and the pullback held. Now you might be wondering, well, those candles are above the green line. Yeah, but they're physically touching it, okay? As long as the candle is physically touching that green line, the BBC, that means the pullback is holding, or held in this case. And that sent us all the way back down, almost to the short target. What was the low? 99.5. Okay, so we missed it by 1.5 points. I'll try to do better. And what was that based on, you ask? Okay, this is Monday. This is Friday. I went all the way back to Thursday. Right here where the black step line crossed blue and climbing. You see that? Put my crosshair right there. And that is the short target. And we missed it by 1.5 points, but looks like we're going to take another run at it perhaps. Okay. Now the idea behind the zones, again, when price rallies up to a zone, we expect resistance till proven otherwise. When price drops to a zone, we expect support until proven otherwise. When price encounters a weekly trading zone, only one of three things can happen. 70% of the time, it's consolidation. 20% of the time, it's rejection. 10% of the time, the slice. Now, the slice is when a 30-minute candle, this is rejection. That's consolidation. The slice is when a 30-minute candle slices through a zone like it's not even there. When that happens, what will typically, when that move runs out of steam, price will typically retrace to the zone it sliced through and continue in the direction of the slice. Didn't exactly play out that way this time. That happens, okay? Once you get really good at reading charts, you're still going to miss the mark 20% of the time or less. We've proven that over 7.5 years, over 22,000 alerts. If you're chasing that holy grail where you never get stopped out again and every trade is profitable, stop. Either find somebody to teach you how to trade, or just give that money to a worthy charitable cause and go fishing, okay? There is no holy grail. Not only does it not exist, it can exist. Oh, but there's algorithms and there's bots, and yeah, I know. That would defy the laws of science, physics, even God. When God created Adam, he did not give Adam the ability to change the past or know the future, right? No, it's still true today, thousands of years later. So potential support here. If we get through, then the low of the session, which, as you'll recall, is the black step line on the daily chart. And there's a beautiful 30-point trade waiting down here if we break through. On the Dow. And I don't know if I mentioned it or not, but we've posted the weekly zones every Monday for our members for over 16 years. December 4th of last year marked 16 years. Some of our traders say they couldn't trade without them. Here's the gap higher open last night on the Dow, and we ran into the weekly zone, resistance, and the BBC, resistance. So we had a leg and a retracement, the pullback held. And then we had another leg, and the weekly trading zone from last Monday held as good support until it finally gave way. And then we hit the short target and found support at the zone below. When the market finds support, it's always going to go look for resistance. And when it finds resistance, it's going to go look for support. Over and over again and again, it's a never-ending cycle. It's just how markets work. So we spiked this zone from last week, but as you can see, we closed well above it. So maybe we get some consolidation here. But this is a pretty bearish looking chart. The Russell gapped higher right into a weekly trading zone. Resistance. So here we go looking for support. And we found it at the short target and the weekly trading zone. Support sends us to resistance, weekly trading zone, and the long target. And resistance sends us looking for support. Do we have a double bottom in place here? Pretty close. In fact, it might be. Let's see. It's the low of this candle. Come on. $27.86.8. Come on. 2786.8. That is a double bottom to the tick. So if we break that double bottom, let's look left. Now that support right there. Okay, you got potential support at the low of this candle. This is going all the way back to Thursday. And then you got potential support right there, 2783, and then you're at last week's zone. And we're still dropping. NQ. On the gap higher open, we hit the long target and a retracement. And then we consolidated along the long target, resistance, the BBC support. When blue and climbing gets directly above price, it becomes potential resistance because it's most likely on its way to becoming red and falling. Blue and climbing obviously is bullish, red and falling is bearish. And so look where the market found support at the weekly trading zone published a week ago. Support sends the market looking for resistance, and resistance sends the market looking for support. Now, this short target is based off this bullish cross right here. A bullish cross is when the blue line gets above the green line and leads to an extended move. When that happens, the first time price revisits that area where the cross happened will almost always be good support. I'm going to give that a 9 out of 10. Okay. That is, if you did nothing but look for those opportunities, you could do well. Okay, so it looks like we caught a nice bounce off that short target, but it looks like the market wants to come down and test it again. And I actually put out 3 short targets. I'm going to leave them up for the remainder of the day just to see if any of the others get touched. All right, crude oil. Crude oil gapped lower on the open all the way down to my second short target. Support sent us to resistance, the pullback held. That sent us back down to the initial short target, the first one. That bounced us back up to the BBC, the pullback held. And then we spiked the short target and found support right at the zone. Support sent us up through the BBC, leg and a retracement, then a huge leg. Basically this high right here from Thursday. We spiked it by just a little bit. Now the fact that we failed to take out that high by much is bearish. And look what happened. And so now we're sitting back up, we're well off the high of the day. Crude had a high. Now this is WTI crude, not Brent. The high is 107.46. Now, when you trade through a CTA long target, often on the retracement, the top side of it can become good support. So that may or may not happen here. Looks like it just wants to go higher. Unlike gold, which just wants to go lower. Okay, we had a gap higher open that was met with immediate selling. It took us down to the first CTA short target. Pulled back to the BBC, held, and it held, and it held. And then we go down to the short target. And this low. I would have looked for this low to be potential support. Didn't get there the first time. Buyers came in early, pushed it up to the BBC, pulled back, held, and now we're trying to get to the zone below at 4,500. Yikes. Silver. Gap higher open, pull back to the BBC. We finally get through the BBC, and we take out the first short target, the second short target, and we finally find support at last week's zone, 72.65/66. Support sends us to resistance at the BBC, and resistance sends us looking for support. Now, got a double bottom right there. That's potential support. We break that, then we're headed here. So, not a pretty picture, but you know what? It's okay. One last look at the daily chart. We're just above that black step line. If we break that thing, remember this low right here from Thursday. That should be good support the first time down. Good enough for a bounce. And then we probably hit the 24% fib and the daily BBC. All right, it's time for Michael to show up. If you want to become a member, you need to get a hold of Valerie. You can call her at 949-42-EMINI. You can email her support@cfrn.net. Just tell her that you're interested in becoming a member. She'll send you an info packet that explains everything it means to become a passport holder. And she'll answer any questions that you may have. Once you become a passport holder, you get 2 hours of live training every trading day. We don't just hand you some indicators, a set of instructions, and wish you good luck. We're in the trenches with you 2 hours every day, putting on, taking off trades, live in real time, real trades, real money, while you ask questions and trade along in the simulator until you qualify to go live. You need to put together 10 consecutive days in a row where you meet your goal in 10 trades or less. And then you move to the micro, and then you go to the full-size E-mini. Okay? This is very important. You'll get what's called the 24/20 blueprint. It's designed to take you from 1 to 20 contracts over a period of 24 months. Once you get beyond 10 contracts, though, the slippage is so great. When I first wrote the 2420 blueprint, the markets were a lot more liquid than they are today. So probably, but think of it this way. If you take 2 points a day out of the ES with one contract, that's worth $100. You're going to trade one contract until you increase your account balance by $2,000. That's 20 trading days. Now you qualify to add a second contract with the profit you earned in the market. So now you're making $200 a day with just 2 points out of the ES. Once you get to 5 contracts, you're making $500 a day. At 10 contracts, you're making $1,000 a day. That's about $250,000 a year. If you can't pay your bills with that, you need debt counseling. But there's no overnight get-rich-quick scheme here. You got to show up, you got to learn, you got to do the work. Don't lick your wounds. It's not hygienic. You will get stopped out more times than I even want to talk about. But you learn to do like Michael does when you watch him trading, okay? As you'll see in a few minutes when he comes on and starts trading. If he gets stopped out, he doesn't, freak out. He just looks for the next opportunity. You got to get that mindset. Read Trading in the Zone by my dearly departed friend, Mark Douglas. It is the only trading book you ever. You can also read High Profit Candlesticks by another friend of mine, but Trading in the Zone is the go-to. You'll never look at the markets the same again. Go to audibletrial.com/CFRN. They'll give you a free trial. You get one free book just for taking their trial. Once you download Trading in the Zone, then you can go ahead and just cancel your free trial. If you don't cancel your free trial, you're going to get billed $15 a month or whatever it is they charge to be a member of their book club. So download Trading in the Zone by Mark Douglas and then cancel your free trial. Nobody will get mad at you. That's just their business model. All right, Michael's having a hard time getting in, so he'll be here in a minute. 2 hours of live training every trading day. Private one-on-one mentoring. No extra charge, just got to ask. The strategy you learn, the indicators you use as a passport holder are fluid across all markets and all time frames. Stocks, futures, crypto, Forex, ETF, doesn't matter. Price flows the same across all markets and all time frames. From support to resistance, back to support, back to resistance, over and over again and again. It's a never-ending cycle. It's just how markets work. You'll also get the Logic 247 alerts around the clock. That'll help you learn to read the charts. You get the concierge trade alerts, typically 5 minutes ahead of the Globex Open each evening. Every Monday morning at 6:15 a.m. Eastern, you get the weekly trading zones. And every Thursday night, you're able to attend the members-only workshop at 8 p.m. Eastern. Last but not least, you get the golden keys that open all the private channels in Telegram. There's a bunch. It's everything a trader needs, all under one roof. One low price. It's a good deal. I checked. All right, let me communicate with Michael. Okay, he's in as an... Hang on. Okay. Okay. Yes. Okay, Michael, you should have full control.
Okay.
There you are.
I have control. Yeah, I had to log in another way with Nate a little while ago.
Okay.
Kind of screwed things up.
All right.
Well,
so here we're ready for you if you're ready for us.
Okay, I'm right over here. And we'll start. Here we are.
Okay, give me a second. Okay, looks good.
Okay.
CAN 30 or 26, whatever.
Yeah, 26. All right. Good afternoon, everyone. Today is Monday, the 4th day of May. 2026. I believe we're in the 5th month, the 4th day of May, the 4th month of May, the 4th day of May, 2026. Let's go where we need to be, right here. All right. If you have not taken a free trial with us and you want to, go here to mytradingiq.com and click on the purple button. There's no credit card required for the trial. Just click on that purple button. And when you do, you will be brought to this registration page where all that we ask for is your name, your email, and your phone number. Down at the bottom, it gives you TradingView login ID. Hit the register button. Once you hit that register button, you know that you took the free trial. Okay? You know that you took the free trials. At that point, we'll get your indicators set up for you. If you give us a TradingView login ID, we'll get your indicators indicating and get the stuff going on your charts. Okay? Okay. So, let's get into it. Today, we had kind of a mediocre day today. Another one that was better than our last mediocre day, which was Friday. But not much. Not even, just barely $10 better than Friday. We did have a lot of trades today, though. We had a lot of trades on Friday, too. So the market's getting back to normal as far as the trades go. It's just the follow through that they're not really giving anything on. But anyway, on the NQ, we ended up with plus 72, on the Russell plus 11, on the YM plus 28, on the S minus 12. So I ended up with $405 per contract on the morning session. Today it took 22 minutes and 14 trades to get to $1,275, and that is with one contract. All right. We took a total of 33 trades today, so we had a large number of trades with 5 stop outs. Sadly, some of those stop outs were right at the beginning, and most of them were on the ES. So it made the ES be a struggle. Anyway, 84.5% of our trades today were break even or better. I think we really only had one break even trade actually. Anyway, on the month, that puts $797.50 over 2 trading days, averaging $398 per contract per 2-hour trading day. And on the year now, we're at $97,977. I think these are correct. No, these are still not correct. I went and did those changes, Michael. Michael R. Is he in here? He's not in here right now. Give me some changes, but these numbers, this is not a good number right here. This number, if you add those down, we're in the 5th month. That 71. Oh, this should be a 72. That's why it's off. That should be a 72. No, that's still not good enough. 72 by 72. And this should be 707. Okay, that's still too high. That number is still too high. I'll have to figure out what's going on with that. I think last month, 12,747. The month before that was 22,052, 21,227. Okay. This 1,300 number just seems high to me. What is it saying? That is equals Q 5602. What is Q 5602? Divided by T 5603. So it should be that divided by that percent. I don't know. Anyway, these numbers right here are suspect, but I know that these numbers are correct, and this number here looks like it's correct. So we're at 97,977 so far. See, this number is off. So there's something messed up here. I'll have to figure it out. Anyway, that's where we are on the day and on the month. Anyway, we got that part right. So we'll go to what we actually did here now. If I can find the right one of these, I think this is it. And let's hit refresh on this because I think we've got a trade coming up on the NQ. Nope, not quite. All right, we'll start out with the golds, not the gold, the Russell. Sorry, I'm losing it today. Let's do this and all the way back here. This. Okay, so on the Russell, our first trade on the Russell was a plus 15. And then our next trade was a stop out that put us at -10. And from -10, we went to 0, so that was a +10 there. We had a +1 there, and I didn't write that one down, whatever that was. But we're at +11 after this one, and we had something else there that I did not write down. Probably go, maybe we'll go look that up. Hang on, let me go see. Does it look like I did that? What time was that at? Yep, this is it. I actually got 9 ticks on that. 9 ticks. Okay, so I'll add that in. Hey, that's good. I can show you the print on that one. It was actually right here. Hey, what timing is right now too. Here it is. Okay. Oh, that's right. I remember what I did with that one. I had the trade on at the end of the session, and no, that wasn't the one. I had another one on after that. It was later than that. It was like 11:28. This one here I had on after too. But yeah, we got 9 more ticks. I'm gonna write that down because we need every tick we can get right now. So that makes this a 20, and this a 34. Let's get back in here though. Not there, not there, not there, not there, not there. This one, I think. Yes. All right. Anyway, that's where we stand on the Russell. We ended up with +20 on the Russell. All right, and now we'll go to the YM. Slide that over here and go to the YM right now. On the YM, we had, let's see, control back on that. There it is. All right, on the YM, we started out with a +2, then we stopped out, and we ended up with a -23 after that. Then went to -18, then -16, then -9, then -4, and then +6. Right, and then I don't have the rest of them in here. Okay, we went from +6 to +16 to +23, and then +28. That's where we ended up with the YM. I don't know why I didn't write any other ones in there, but we really did have all those other trades. Coming to the end here, we don't have anything going on right now. So we ended up with +28 on the YM. And the ES, now we'll go all the way back here. All the way back here. On the ES, we had -10. We got a +1, that put us at -9. Then we got a +2. Now I have this highlighted like this because, oh, it didn't actually hit the mid-band right there. We went to -7. Then right here, we stopped out again, went to -17. Then on this one here, we only picked up 6 ticks on that. It went all the way down here. I don't know why it didn't hit my 30-tick profit target. It seems like it should have. From 54 all the way down to 40, I guess not. We only got 24 ticks. Okay, well, anyway, we picked up 6 on that, and that put us, after we picked up the 6 on that on the ES, we were at -1, I think, right? Let me pick up a 6 from. Yeah, we had that stop out. That put us at -10. Then this stop out put us at -17. Then this stop out put us at -21. So from -21, we went to -14. And then from -14 to -12. That's where we ended up with the ES. Okay. All the way to the end. We don't have any trades here right at the moment. And the NQ, which I think was our big winner of the day. It was. We didn't have any big trades again today on the NQ. But we had enough to make the other ones small. Okay, here we go. On the NQ, our first trade here was a +12. Then we had 10 more to get us to +22. Then we had 10 more to get us to 32. Right, so we had a +12, then 10 to 22, then 10 to 32. Then 14 to 46. Then I didn't write one down, and then we stopped out, and that put us down to 10, and then went back to 20. This one, I have this on here because I took it on the wrong DOM. I got 6 ticks in profit, and I took it on the wrong DOM. So that was a little bit of a mistake there. But I went from 20 to 26, and then 26 to 52 there, and then 52 to 62, and 62 to 72 somewhere. And that was it on the NQ. Okay, so it was kind of a rough morning for me. We just had a trade here on the NQ. That would have been a plus 10 for me at this point. I think I've been out of it. All right, so now we get into the trading. So that's how we ended the morning session. Okay, we ended up with plus 450. 72 on the NQ, 20 on the Russell, 28 on the YM, and minus 12 on the S. Put us at 450 this morning. All right, so let's get in here and see if we can make a little money trading right now. All these other things that I was doing. I was working with Nate, and Nate was having trouble getting his stuff going. Michael R. In the spreadsheet, I put those changes in down here at the bottom, and this is still the wrong number. So something about this number. I went and looked at all those, and all those look right, and this is right. This number, for some reason, just seems too high. Let's go back here. Oh, that's why. You have 70 there. Oh, 72. That's right. That's the right number of days. It just seems high for some reason. 79,000 plus 8,400. Oh, wait a minute. This is why. There's something wrong in this number right here. How do we go from 79 to 98 by only adding 8,400? There's something wrong in this number. Q5590 to Q D601. D601. And it sums them, right? Is that number right? 32,000 January. No, it should be 23,000. That's the one that's wrong. 23,025. This is it. Okay, I think that's what you told me. 23,025. Okay, and then we'll carry down the other numbers. That's the problem. Oops. Oh, those are calculated numbers. I'll have to fix that later. This equals that. Let's just get rid of that. So now I can copy these, copy, paste. It still did it. Oh, because it's carrying it down from the last one. Okay, so I can just enter those numbers in. 21, 227.50. And 22,052.50. Got that one. This one is what we need. 12,747.50. There we go. $1,214. That's better. That number still seems high, but I'm gonna roll with that for right now. this, I think, should be just a straight 842. It should be times 10. That's better. It's not better, but it's true. All right. Let's get back in here now. See if we can trade anything. We didn't miss anything while I was doing all that. Doesn't look like anyway. All right. Okay, I think I got it fixed now. I think. All right, and I gotta find my DOMs. I don't have all my DOMs up here. I'm missing my YM DOM. There's that guy. We'll bring him back over here. Okay, yes, I'm missing my NQ DOM now. Okay, I got all my DOMs again. Yeesh, I'm a mess today. I ended up doing 3 separate meetings during the break. It's kind of all over the place, and I ended up coming in as an attendee because I had to log off and log back on. Different places. Anyway, we don't have any trades yet today in this session. Pretty close to having trades, but we're not quite there. I don't think we're going to end up with anything here because we just had to reset it. And the other ones look like they're all going to reset too. So what I wasn't sure about today, yes, should be the sum of that times 10. I know you're talking about this one, right? Q5594. Oh, you're saying Q5592. Yeah, 5592. Okay. That should be, oh, S5592. S5592. This guy should be that guy times 10. Am I looking at the right thing? That's 94. That one should be that one times 10. That is that one times 10. This one, oh, this one right here is wrong. This is, yeah, this is one you're talking about. Okay, okay. Equals that times 10. There. Okay, that one looks right. That one looks right, that one looks right, that one looks right, that one looks right. So that one should be right. And that puts us there. Okay, yeah, because that number was off. All right. Woohoo. Touchdown. Excellent. Thank you. I know that stuff bugs him. Probably more than it bugs me. See, I don't have OCD. All right.
When I lock my front door, when I leave the compound, I have to consciously just stop for a minute and go, Dwayne, you locked the door. So that I don't get halfway around the block and go,
I
locked the door. And I got to go back around, get out of the car. And 9 times out of 10, yeah, of course I locked it. But that's my little slice of OCD.
Yeah. I just leave the door unlocked all the time, so I don't have to worry about it. Doesn't matter if I lock the front door.
You're right, Michael R. Just go back and check it 3 more times. I know. Yeah, it's a thing. It's definitely a thing.
It is. All right, so we have now 6 minutes left, and we don't have a single trade yet.
Nothing yet? Wow.
Nope, nothing yet. Yeah. Time will tell, though. I'm going to meet with Nate again. We couldn't get things going the last time we tried. Got into one meeting. He kept coming in on the web version. And so he thinks he's got it fixed now, so he can come in on the desktop version.
Did he download the desktop version of?
He has now.
View? He has now.
Yeah.
Okay.
Not so much trading view. It was go to webinar.
Oh yeah, I'm sorry. Go to webinar.
Yeah, if he comes in on the desktop version, and on the web version of that, I can't do anything with this desktop. I'm just going to kind of move stuff on mine. So we said we would try again. So
Thank you.
we're going to meet again in a little while.
Thank you for that.
We'll get him going. I wish there was an easier way to do it, because we don't know what level they're going to be. I was reading your message that you sent me earlier. We don't know what level they're going to come into TradingView on. Usually, if you best if everybody already had TradingView, but then they come in on some level like Essential, and when they come in on Essential, I send them an email and I give them different links in it. But if they don't read the email, then it just doesn't happen.
Yeah,
then they're going to do it, one-on-one. I do send them an email with all the information in it. Pretty sure. If I go and look at that email, it says, if you're Essential, or if you haven't done anything, then go here and do all this. Has all those steps. But if they don't do those steps, then none of the steps are going to matter. And then at the bottom, I have all the links, all the same links that we have right here on this page.
Oh, Bitcoin is actually positive on the day? That's like the only thing. Bitcoin, I saw it scroll across the bottom there.
Oh, yeah, it was up $1,000 or something like that.
That may be the new flight to safety, because gold and silver are getting hammered.
Yes, there are a lot of things getting hammered today. What did we do in the markets when the European? We almost have a trade here on the SPC up close. So we'll have our first trade of the session. It's got a low 33, so we're buying 35 on that. 35.
So to clarify what Michael just said, he's going to be buying 72.35.
Yep, it looks like this. Buy stop limit 72.35.
Every one of those bars is exactly 7 ticks tall. So he wants to get filled on an up close and the open of the next candle, which will be the 8th tick.
Right there. Now, if it goes down anymore, which it just has, it can't go below 31.50. It can't go any lower than it has. Because now from 31.50, we're going to buy 33.50, like that. When the up close, it puts it right at the mid band. And so we're going to buy 33.50, and it actually slipped me 1 tick positive, so that's good. I don't know how or why it did that, but it's good. And now we just bumped to break even. I'm going to lock in 1 tick, so we have some positive result. It should go up into this number right here. That's the number it wants to go into, 35.25. Then the number after that is 36.50. We should see some sort of positive gain here on this. Plus 2 ticks.
Run, Forrest, run.
Hopefully it's going to go. The 35.50 number moved up to 36 here. There it goes. Plus 4 ticks. That's $500 right now with 10 contracts. And we're out with 4 ticks. Okay. That's positive. Positive gain on the ES, which hasn't been an easy thing for me today. Go put that in here, down at the bottom of the afternoon results. Let's see. Above. That's the whole week's worth there. Let's be 89. 4. Yes. And we'll carry this one down. I'll carry that one down. We had 1 break-even trade on Friday, it looks like, right here. That one down. This is a 1. That is a 0. And we only had about 8 minutes in this session. So. All right, it's just about time to wrap it up as it is. This should not be 400. No, it's gold. That's why that should be over here. 4. There should be 500. That's better. Okay, let's go back out there and see if there's anything else, but we're going to have to wrap it up here in 30 seconds anyway. This is not a trade here. That was where we got the 4 ticks. Nothing here and nothing here. Okay, did it get up into those numbers yet? 35.50 was one of them. And then 37 was the other one. So it's just about there. Just about there.
Last night I was expecting a gap lower open, and so I put on the CTAs, I put 2 short targets for every market. And then we gapped higher on the open.
Yeah,
But
right there.
then the sell-off today, most of those secondary short targets got hit. I think I even gave the NQ 3 short targets. So
It's good stuff. All right. So I think we're going to wrap it up, Dwayne. We've hit the deadline. So this is how we're going to wrap it up for today, 5/4/2026. We had one trade with, oops, I don't know what that number actually was. I think we had 15 minutes on Friday, 8 today. The 89th session that I've been keeping track of anyway. We're up $500 with 4 ticks on the ES today. We had one trade with 4 ticks. So that puts us, our average in these sessions, we're averaging about 15 and a half minutes of trading, and we're averaging the daily goal plus a little bit, $121 a contract in those 15 minutes. So if you don't make it to the morning session, you try to get into this session.
10 contracts, that's $1,200.
It is in 15 minutes of time, average every day. If you haven't taken a free trial with us, go here to mytradingiq.com, click on the purple. There's no credit card required. Once you click on that, it's going to bring you to the registration page. Just fill out the registration page, and we send everything you need to get into the room and to get your indicators indicating on your desktop. All right. And with that, we can pass it back out to fabulous Phoenix, Arizona, Studio A, overlooking South Mountain, America's largest city park. Dwayne, if you are ready.
I'm ready.
Excellent.
All right, recap of the morning session.
Today, it took 22 minutes and 14 trades to get to $1,275.
Good job.
Okay, now Dwayne, are you going to be done here in a few minutes? Because my next meeting is scheduled for 2 o'clock with Nate. I can use this room if you're
No, I'll be done. All I got to do is, I covered everything in granular detail, guys. So if you missed any part of it, go to youtube.com/CFRN. 10 minutes after I sign off, you can watch all of today's broadcast in its entirety, or you can fast forward to whatever part you want to see. And yes, Michael, all I got to do is a good word for the day, and then I'm signing off.
Okay, great.
All right.
Thanks.
Okay. All right, guys. Again, we've covered everything in granular detail. I will show you one last look at the ES on the daily and see how we, again, and then last night in the discussion group, if you go read, hopefully you saw it last night, I said the black step line should be good support. And we've come down and tapped it a couple times, but so far it's holding. This is a 30-point window of opportunity right below it. So depends on how we close today. At one point, it looked like we were going to turn around and challenge the all-time historic high put in on Friday. And the reason I thought there was going to be a gap lower open last night was because we put in an all-time historic high on Friday, but we closed red on the session. So I was expecting a gap down, and the doggone thing gapped up, but that's life. All right. I already explained how to become a member. Just email Valerie, support@cfrn.net. Call her at 949-42-EMINI. She'll take good care of you. All right. So we'll wrap it up with our good word for today. It came to pass, not stay. Genesis 4:3. There's a little phrase that's repeated 436 times in the Bible. It came to pass. Whatever trial you're going through today, remind yourself, it came to pass, not stay. If the fulfillment of the vision God gave you seems to be taking longer than you thought, remind yourself, it will come to pass. In his biography, God in My Corner, the 2-time world heavyweight champion George Foreman tells a story about an elderly woman who was asked her favorite scripture verse. She replied, and it came to pass. She explained why. I know that whenever a trial comes, it doesn't come to stay, it comes to pass. And the scripture on the flip side of this coin reads, being confident of this, that he who began a good work in you will carry it on to completion. Philippians 1:6. In other words, he will bring it to pass. Either way, God always finishes what he starts. Habakkuk 2:3 says, the vision is yet for an appointed time. Though it tarries, wait for it, because it will surely come to pass. Battling an illness that threatened his life and enemies who wanted to take his throne, David turned to the Lord for help, and God didn't disappoint him. Here's two scriptures that you can stand on. First one is Psalm 30, verse 5. Weeping may last through the night, but joy comes with the morning. And then Psalm 30, verse 11 and 12. You have turned my mourning into joyful dancing. You have taken away my clothes of mourning and clothed me with joy, that I might sing praises to you and not be silent. O Lord my God, I will give you thanks forever. And that's our good word for today. Thanks so much for tuning in. Whoever you are, wherever you are, may God continue to richly bless you with his mercy and with his grace. And I'll see you at the bell.
Remember this, there is no greater return on investment than to see a human life changed and given hope. As always, pray hard and trade safe. Any financial information discussed on this show is simply the opinion of our host, Dwayne Reeves, his co-hosts, and guests. To learn more about trading E-mini futures or to take a 1-week free trial in our live trading room, call 1-866-928-3310. 866-928-3310. Information discussed on this radio program should not be construed as a recommendation to buy or sell any security. Always do your own due diligence and consult with a licensed securities broker or financial planner before making any investment decision.